Well, looks like we're back with another movie. Since you guys seem to love to listen to us talk about all these queer movies, we're
All
going to
the
be talking.
gays.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about one from 2003 called Mambo Italiano, which
Mm-hmm.
is a Canadian film. This was not my first time watching it, but it was David's first time watching it. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll be discussing David's reaction and a little bit of a review, I guess, if you will. So, David, what was your first reaction?
It was fun. It was fun. It was just like a good old fun with actually a lot of subjects mentioned, but in a fun ways. It's quite nice.
Yeah, for this movie, I saw this movie. I think around when I was 17 or 18, I actually rented it from a movie store. Wow, my age is showing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rented it from a movie store. It seemed fun. And it was like one of the first quote unquote gay movies that I saw, and it really stuck with me. The humor in it, I make a lot of quotes from it, but no one usually ever gets it. So it's a very quotable movie if you like those types of movies.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And Roger Ebert even called it a gay, my big fat Greek wedding. So,
We shall also see.
so you might be wondering, what is the plot? Well, Angelo Barberino is the oddball son of an Italian immigrants, Gino and Maria, who inadvertently ended up in Canada rather than the United States. Angelo shocks his parents and his sister Anna by moving out on his own without getting married, and shortly after that, shocks him further still when he reveals that he is gay. But his boyfriend and childhood best friend, policeman Nino, isn't as ready to come out of the closet, especially to his busybody Sicilian mother, Lena.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Nino was problematic in himself. I mean, I wouldn't think that I would have a crush on someone who basically ignored me all of my high school year after being best friends. I'm just saying.
Well, we have to mention this used to be a play as well, so it was an
Yes,
adaptation of a play.
it used to be a play. Well, still is a play, isn't it? No, they don't perform it anymore. Okay.
But it
Well,
was a play, became a movie, so there we go.
apparently it was one of the biggest international Canadian plays. There you go.
Never heard of them.
And also, we forgot to note, side note here, the entire cast is also like trilingual, so they pretty much all spoke French. So they actually redid the movie, or they dubbed their voices in French as well. So the movie's in French, and David still hasn't seen it. So
Trilingual does mean speaking three language. There is no sexual thing going on there. But just to make it clear, we're staying PG over there.
So David, why don't you run us through the little Canadian play names over here?
Oui, oui, bonjour. I should say the words in French
Mhm.
for you, sir. So, the characters from the movie is called uh, Angelo Barberini, played by Luke Kirby. That's in English. What did I even
Wow.
bother?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm, okay,
We
let's
should
go.
talk about who is actually directed by, sir. Like, who's it
Oops,
directed by?
sorry. So the movie was directed by Émile Gaudreau,
Okay.
mhm, and written by Steve Galuzio and Émile Gaudreau.
Okay. Oh, calm down. All right. Well, Steve Galucio is actually, he wrote this play based on his life.
Mm,
So there is a little, it's like a little, autobiographical,
mhm.
I guess.
It is.
So, yeah, pretty fun for him. Must have been a very interesting. I think the scenes with his aunt though really stood out because he always talked about her like she's like like a movie star. She was always dancing and bringing life. I really would like to see that play, to be honest, and to see
Mm.
what they would do to that. She's probably like dancing in like a spotlight. Yeah.
I wonder if that reason is actually inside the movie itself, or she just mentioned because she has no speaking part per se, if you think about it. But
Yeah.
the movie really stand out by its focus on Italian immigration, Italian families, and actually how Italians are with each other, with the different cultures of the Italian family. And there is one sentence that very important when they actually say you're immigrating for better life, but you're actually bringing your life basically inside the country you're in. So you're never integrating, you're just moving your life from one place to another, but keep actually everything the same. And that's pretty
Yeah.
much what the movie is about. Because we find ourselves with this guy, Angelo, who
So
live
once,
in a country that actually
yeah,
is different to Italy.
he lives in the country and he's trying. He's Canadian. Like that's,
Hmm.
and he's trying to wrestle that with his Italian culture that his parents, keep forcing on him, and just seeing it headbutt constantly. It's very interesting. I guess social commentary, if you will.
Hmm. This is the thing, like I think we can see it in a lot of family which actually got first immigrations because usually the kids end up actually being much more American, French or Canadian than actually their parents, and there can be a lot of problem in that way because reconciling two cultures can be very hard. Believe me, I know about it. Um, but yeah. I did actually enjoy the fact that despite the fact we are talking about very important subject of coming out, being yourself, finding love, and actually dealing with rejection of another community, but they still kept it very light and very funny, and really
Yeah.
enjoyable for that way. And the ending, I really love the ending as well because the ending is not going the easy way and actually really do what people would have wanted him to do without spoilers.
Yeah. But can we also talk about some of the very memorable characters? Especially Nino's. Well, we're not gonna talk about her, but she could really be played by a drag queen. I mean, Mrs. in the bride shop where she's just like,
Mm,
honey, you leave me in the gay village. There won't be a gay village. I'm like, that is so
mm. Yeah, a lot of quotable moments. For me, the entire wedding scene at the end is actually pretty much a drag queen show. With the crying, the fake crying, and the family just judging each other very shady on this. That was really fun.
Yeah, and I think Angelo's sister was also one of my favorite characters. She's always sucking on those popsicles, and he's like, one day sucking on those popsicles paid off.
But she just taking the antidepressant actually as sweet in some ways. And just go to a different psychiatrist every week because she doesn't want to see the person twice. And that was hilarious because he's so Italian. Like the fact is, oh no, I'm not gonna go and see you twice because you will know too much about me.
Yeah.
And that was actually very funny because there's a really this kind of need of appearance very important in Italian culture, and it's the same with the French culture in some way. I do recognize myself in that because the power of appearance is so anchored in the culture that even if it is to lose your son because your son is gay, you can't actually people can't see that you're gay because it will actually reflect badly to your family actually. It was a very interesting subject, even though they're doing it as a joke, as actually as a comedy. We still have this very serious thing about actually how can you resolve yourself as a person, and on top of it, actually have dealing with a family, which is so overwhelming inside your life. the image, the funny stuff. That was a funny stuff, but at the same time, is really, when you think about it, was the neighbors whose son is at least in his 50s and is still living with his parents because he hasn't found the right woman.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
funny, but at the same time, you think about it, you're just like, damn.
Yeah. And then when Angela moved out, it was like a funeral. Remember? She was like,
Mm,
oh.
I know.
And then Nino moves in with him, and they just like, why? What? Angela's parents are like, why? What makes him a better roommate than us?
We know why.
And I mean, the whole time, Nino is trying to keep this whole facade up as well, which a lot of gay people know about, like
Uh-huh.
trying to, appear as to be straight, because apparently Nino was her only son, so there's a lot of pressure there, to keep this facade going, and
Mm,
but I don't know, like I really had a hard time feeling bad for Nino.
mm,
But I think that's
same.
kind of the point. I think it's kind of the point. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
But Angelo sometimes he had a little bit of problematic woes as well, especially when he was just like he goes to the gay was the help group, and then he
Mhm.
tells them, oh, I'm here to make, gay friends. I want to make all types of gay friends except the effeminate ones. Keep those away from me.
Yeah, that was a bit problematic. But it's actually, and somewhere you can really see he still have got this Italian in him, where actually you have to be a bit macho in some ways.
Yeah.
And that could be that too. Uh,
Yeah. But let's also not forget that some of the scenes from the phone calls were super funny.
mm.
And they were talking about things we're talking about today, like transitioning and everything. And there was one where the person didn't want to transition anymore, and that whole phone.
Well, to explain to people in case of they haven't seen the movie, he decided after breaking up with Nino, because Nino decided to go with a woman, he decided to actually try to find a ways to actually fit in more into the gay culture because he actually come out as gay, and he need to actually start to, he doesn't know anything about it because he never really experienced it going to the village. So he actually went to the village. The mother is very surprised that it's actually a gay
Yeah.
village.
And then she tells the father, why do you know so much about
Why not the gay village? And
And he's like, I don't know. She's like, well, he had to get it from somebody.
which is so funny because in a lot of coming out, basically, we're having this thing about what have we done? Where does it come from? So yeah, something we're much going to be talking about in a video in the future about actually coming out in the movie. I saw the TV Glow, but that's going to be in the future. But we actually have this situation when he goes into the gay airplane, try to find and to meet people, and he tried to actually, well, do the gay airplane thing, but being Italian, he doesn't actually understand how it is to be compassionate in some ways. He's very Italian in some way because he would
Yeah.
basically like very brute and very actually like brutal on in his answers. And they've been telling him to actually just do active listening. So I mean, repeating what the person say. And that's a person actually who just doesn't want transition anymore. And he started to actually like repeating what the guy said about having small breasts and everything else. It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And it's very, very funny.
It is. Unfortunately, this movie was pretty poorly reviewed. I think it's got like 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, but hey, what do they know? I mean, if you look at one of our other reviews we just did about In a Violent Nature, they also gave that one like what, 88%? So
Mm, exactly.
take that with a grain of salt.
But we also have to maybe mention the fact that it came in 2003. 2003 was still the period when we still have the bury your gays era, when
Yes,
actually a lot of gay people died for some reason in
yeah,
movies.
I also feel like 2003 was a very formative years for in TV and movies for gay people, at least in the continent of America, because
Yes.
well, North America, because there was a lot. I remember there being a lot of gay shows around 2003, or not gay shows, but like a lot of gay people started showing up in shows all of a sudden.
Mm.
And I remember a lot of them in TV shows, and it was kind of a turning point where we were kind of transitioning from being the butt of the jokes to now being the friend, or never the main character, but like the friend, or something like that. But it was definitely a turning point in that way. Which there's also some other things I want to talk about from that year, but we'll get to it in this series eventually.
Oh,
All in
okay.
good time. All in
Gonna be
good time.
surprised. What is it about?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Let me prepare myself.
Didn't say.
Mhm. Bien sûr. Bien sûr, mon amour.
Okay. Let's see. Now, since I have some of the reception up, apparently it flopped in the box office. Unfortunately,
Surprisingly.
only made 6 million. I didn't even know it was released. So apparently, it was released in theaters in Canada. I'm not sure about the United States, but it's definitely something that I would suggest seeing. Sure. I will say there are some jokes that probably did not age well, as we see in most 2000 comedies. But I still feel like the story is the story that we can relate to. Like, let's be honest here. David, you can relate to it. I can relate to it.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
sure a lot of people can relate to it.
And based on what we're going to be talking about in that series, actually about a lot of eras in queer movies and queer TV show. We just coming out on that bury your gays era, which all the gay characters actually dying at the end of movies,
Mm-hmm.
or badly destroyed, or well, it was a really dark thing. And there was actually someone who actually ended up happy, which is really nice to see. She's different. She's like, oh, he's not dead. Oh, that's nice.
No, he's not dead. And even then, it still didn't present. What I like about this movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but it doesn't present a fairy tale ending. It's just kind of like life goes on, life
I
goes on.
agree. I agree. And I would say that my big fat Greek wedding is actually pretty on the nose for the type of humor. We're still looking at two movie about culture, about immigrant cultures, and actually finding ways to actually mix the old culture, the new cultures, and actually try to find a way to harmonize both of them in a different paradigm, which was interesting. I use the term paradigm. That's the first. Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, that's all we got for you today. And as always, if you like the conversations, you like what we talk about, you can always like and subscribe. It really helps us, Or we can start
Please.
OnlyFans. I don't know. What?
No, only
Okay.
felt, maybe.
Yeah. So, all right,
I
David, is there
can
anything you
show
want to
you, yeah, I can show you my pussy.
add? Oh, hello, Smudgy.
There you
Okay.
go.
Well, I guess we'll talk to you guys next time.
Next time. Bye
Bye.
bye.